this content is for kids.
It's not for kids.
Isn't that what I said?
No, it's not for kids. If you are 13 years or younger, this is not for you. Do I have to kill somebody in order to actually make that point across?
No, man, you don't have to kill
Wait
no
a
one.
second.
Oh, no.
When we return to our planet, the High Court may well sentence you to torture.
He likes movies, we like movies. SeptumSin versus the world. SeptumSin versus the world. SeptumSin versus the world. SeptumSin versus the world. I'd buy that for $1.
Greetings, you're watching SeptumSin versus the World. I'm SeptumSin, this is Kotobuki Jake, and we're here to show you what we got.
Show me what you got. I want to see what you got. Oh boy.
Well, I started us off, I guess, on the new stuff, so I guess you'll start us off on the pickup stuff, but you've got quite a pickup.
Indeed, I do.
We'll have to see who's got the coolest.
I know. Unfortunately, I already tipped my hand with him, so he knows a lot of what's on here. But there have been multiple things going on lately. One being that my attention was captured by some stuff on Best Buy.
Ooh.
And I have received I placed an order. They told me 2 items were ready for pickup at the closest Best Buy, and the others are being assembled piecemeal and shipped. Yeah, so I went ahead and got those 2, and those I'm going to start off with this week. The first one is a film that we actually, Septum and I, had watched a film a few years back by a gentleman known as Yorgos Lanthimos called Dogtooth. And we both were like, how in the bleeding hell is this an Oscar nominee?
Or a comedy.
Or a comedy. It was drier than the desert sort of comedy it was more weird than anything. But even then, it was kind of pedestrian in its weirdness, if that makes sense. But then Lanthimos reached true heights of weirdness with The Lobster. And then he did a film that resonated with the Oscars to the tune of 10 nominations. And I actually enjoyed it, amazingly. And that is a film called The Favorite, which I finally got basically $1 for every nomination it got. But this is one that I did genuinely want to get. I would like to get The Lobster, too. I don't really care about Dogtooth. But this was actually fun. I really enjoyed it. It was weird. It was dry. But I liked it. And it was responsible for a rather out of the blue actress win. Kind of surprised a lot of people when Olivia Colman pulled that out. But good film. Good film. I'm glad to finally have it. And I don't remember if this was on my best of list for that year, but if it was, I think it was at least on the top 40 list. Yeah.
So I have some very interesting ones myself, and of course I'm sure we're going to see more as time goes on with the Criterion pickups.
Yeah.
I've got them in a couple of things. I got some packages being mailed out, and I have a couple that I picked up. 2 of those pickups from the time I actually went out to the store are, going to be shown here. One I'm saving for the end, and one I've got here. So this one I thought was just kind of a interesting one, which was a fairly new release, which is Steven Spielberg's I Want to Hold Your Hand, which follows a bunch of Beatles fans basically following them around trying to get their autograph. It's one that used to be shown a lot. It's 1978, but it's an interesting pairing of directors. I want to say it was Spielberg and it was somebody else. Oh, and Zemeckis.
Yeah.
Harold Zemeckis, I believe. Robert Zemeckis, sorry. Which is, that's a pretty cool pairing right there. And I've been told it's a fairly big favorite. It was shown on TV a lot, and I wanted to have it, so it's kind of cool to have this. It has a decent number of special features.
Sounds.
So I'm more than willing, and it's got a couple of two early Zemeckis films, The Lift and A Field of Honor, which is awesome to have some short films. So I look forward to watching this. It's been a while.
Right. One thing that I will be honest is one of the reasons why I have been frequenting, I guess I can say frequenting, the Best Buy site is we've talked at various points, and we talked a lot on this week's pickups because there's a lot of them coming out, about how much one really wants to focus on trying to get Steelbook editions and that sort of thing.
Yeah, depends.
And I very seldom focus my time and energy on getting the Steelbooks, but I occasionally do. But I will jump on them if I get a good price. And actually, one of the other items from the Best Buy was an example of a Steelbook at a really good price, and that will be presented in an upcoming presentation. But this one actually, it's debatable if it really, 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 truly was at the price that I would have set for it. But it was a movie I thoroughly enjoyed, much more than I expected to. It does have Guillermo del Toro's name attached, so that right there, the dude is a huge film nut, so it just feels like on principle, getting a collector's edition is appropriate. And I just thought that this looked cool. So I went ahead, and they had a steep discount on it. It was still $20, but it was much cheaper than they were normally asking. So I went ahead and got the Steelbook for Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark, which, like I said, that's pretty cool little cover art there.
That is a cool one.
And that's I just thought that would be worth having, and it does have some bonus features, not a lot, but some. It is technically 4K, which is pointless to me right now, but there's a Blu-ray edition, and who knows, one day I could have a 4K player and TV. But like I said, nice little collector's edition, and it was a fun movie. It's worth having.
So I have one that was a piece of a TV series that PBS did, which is The Pioneers of Television, which I got off of a What Movie One lot there. And this is Robin Williams Remembered.
Ah.
And it's kind of cool. It goes through a lot of his stuff. It's a nice little, hour-long show there. And I want to get the rest of the series now because it's pretty cool. It does a pretty good in-depth look at him. And as you can see, I got used. So, of course, I had to prioritize watching it. Yeah. I do not have any more used that are in my collection that I have not watched.
Oh, wow.
So that is a pretty good... I used to have like a huge backup of
I still do.
But, still, I'm kind of glad to have it. It was a cool one. It was one of the two that were on the higher up value-wise when it came to the lot. I think I've shown off all the rest of them. Because I did that one. I showed the Comic-Con one off, and I showed the aged one off. And no, I haven't shown all of them. There's one more, but we'll get to that by the end.
All right.
Well, not the end of this, but maybe next time.
Right. So, for my next trick, no, he mentioned the Criterion sale, and unfortunately, a good chunk of this I already, like I said, I already tipped my hand, and he knows what most of this will be, but you all don't, so it can still be a nice surprise. And the first one is one that's not much of a surprise because I had already declared that it would be mine. Oh, yes, it will be mine.
I don't think anybody will really see some of these as surprises if they've
And I
watched
think, yeah, that's true. And I think this one's quite appropriate given that this week on our preview list, we talked about a Netflix original being given its Criterion treatment, which was Marriage Story. And that one will be presented by the end of the month, I think.
Oh, yeah.
But this is one that I am super stoked about because while I really appreciated Marriage Story and actually rather enjoyed it, I really loved this movie. This is Alfonso Cuarón's Roma.
Oh, yeah. Must buy.
Excellent film. I am so thrilled. And even though it's new, look at all the special features. That's a pretty decent bit of special features there. But this is a phenomenal film. Should not have freaking lost to Green Book.
Yeah.
Stupid.
I ended up buying my copy with the Godzilla set. And looking at the prices, actually what I bought it for and the Godzilla set for, it was about the same as what I would have gotten it for.
When the Godzilla set went on sale, I might have jumped the gun slightly getting that because I could have got it cheaper with the Best Buy, with the Barnes & Noble card. Yeah. But yeah, with the Barnes & Noble card, this is definitely cheaper than what I was going for when you told me about that. But it was close. Like we're talking a few bucks. But I jumped on the Godzilla set and waited on this. But now I have this. I am very happy.
So now you have both.
Yes. And this is definitely knocking one off of my favorites list, which, as I've said before, I'm trying to get my favorite films from each year. So this was very important on multiple levels.
Well, thanks to Rightstuf,
yeah,
I'm no longer having to worry about not alternating my anime evenly.
Yeah, I've got plenty of anime coming up.
So one of them is I went ahead and I caught up on the sale, and it's going on right now, their birthday sale. Matter of fact, they turn 33 officially on the 16th, I want to say.
And guess what? There's Gundam.
There is Gundam on that sale. But I did not get Gundam on my sale. I actually got Boruto.
Wow.
So I have the first three, so now I've got 4 and 5. So let's take a look at this here. This is number 4. I have yet to see an episode of Boruto because I feel like after trudging through Naruto and Shippuden, I need a break. Mm-hmm. But still, it's well worth checking out. And then, of course, 5. I did kind of enjoy the movie, so, it might be worth checking out. So, it's so now I have Boruto up to episode 66.
Mm-hmm. Good deal.
666.
Wow. Yeah, I bet you'll love it if it gets that long.
Oh, good God.
So, my next one, I know for something completely different. Well, still in the Criterion collection, my first pickup was pretty notable. And again, this one's related to this month's releases. Back in the day, there was a release of a Preston Sturges filmmaker collection. I wanted it. It had rare films that have not really gotten a proper release, and I still want it. But I really, really, really wanted the Criterion edition of Sullivan's Travels. And of course, this week sees the release, I think tomorrow, at the time of filming. I think tomorrow sees the release of The Lady Eve. So I've kind of, at this point, I'd like to get that collection, but I am more than happy to get the Criterion editions of the ones I can. And one of the films that was on that collection, which I have seen and which is quite delightful, is an old screwball comedy with Joel McCrea and Claudette Colbert called The Palm Beach Story.
Fairly. Oh, wait, no, that's an older release.
It was an old one, 1942. Actually, I think this might have been the follow-up to Sullivan's Travels. It's definitely in that time frame. And, it doesn't have quite as many bonus features as one would like, but it's got a few, including a short, a Safeguarding Military Information, a 1941 World War propaganda short written by Sturgis. That's kind of interesting. And I like how there's an interview with Bill Hader. That's kind of random. But this was a fun movie. I enjoyed it. I would love to see it cleaned up and Blu-ray quality. And I have enjoyed what I've seen of Sturgis, so nice to add to the collection a little.
Well, some fun stuff indeed. I've been tempted by that myself.
Well, especially because, as we mentioned in our discussions of Sullivan's Travels and No Brother Arthur, without Preston Sturges, we might not have the Coen brothers. So,
True enough.
Or at least not in the way that we do.
Well, I've got here one that we covered on Inside Movies Galore, one that you sat out, which was Mo's pick, and that is video violence. Even getting... This was like one of the early shot on video horrors, and it's kind of cool to see it. It's got both the first and second film on it. Mm-hmm. It's debatable whether this is the original release or not. I'm going to say probably not, but it does have a pretty cool thing up here for the second film. Mm-hmm. I like the art on it, so I can deal. The first video violence is about this. It's kind of a mystery story about this guy who's got a video shop, and he keeps getting these snuff films snuck into his store, and he's trying to find out where they come from and what it's about. And then the second film kind of builds upon that. It's kind of got some mean-spiritedness to it, but you expect that with these type of slasher-type films. It tries to be very gory and bloody, but in a fake way. So I do feel like it's one that you could try and check out. It's not super hard to find, but getting one that's in this country is a little bit harder to find. For some. Mine came from Brazil.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so again, and I've got another one that's sitting in Germany somewhere, so I'll probably gift it to somebody when they eventually... They're waiting until the COVID prices go down for shipping. So we'll see.
Okay. All right. So my next one up, keeping with the Criterion theme a while longer, and speaking of Mo, at the start of the month, I think we all kind of just randomly threw up our wish lists on our discussion, and Mo put all these ones up, and I was like, oh, I forgot that one and that one. And so one of the ones I got was one that he had reminded me I needed to get. And that's a film, and actually this one also has a connection with movies with Delusions of Grandeur, this week's discussion of Superman, because in a way there is a unfortunate Marlon Brando connection with both of these in a sense. But anyway, so this is the 1932, very old film, 1932 Earl C. Kenton directed adaptation of a book by H.G. Wells called Island of Lost Souls with Charles Lawton and Bela Lugosi.
Very good one.
Yes, and of course, one of the bonus features is new interviews with horror film historian David J. Schall, filmmaker Richard Stanley, the original director of the ill-fated 1996 adaptation, and Gerald Casal and Mark Mothersbaugh of the band Devo. That's an assortment, isn't it? But I just like the way that they did that little slight to the Island of Dr. Moreau in here, which I still need to see that film. But this is considered a classic. I've heard that it is essential viewing. And, I mean, with Lawton and Lugosi, I mean, that right there kind of, you got to see it. Kind of sad. They scrimped a little bit on the bonus features there, but it's not bad. But a classic.
Sounds like fun. Actually, well, I know it's fun. I've seen it.
Yeah, I was going to say.
I own that. I own that edition. Yes. So,
Yeah.
speaking of fun, I decided, you know what? I'm going to start doing this monthly. I'm going to put together I'm going to hold back like $30 some every month, and I'm going to get a volume of a series that I've been long needing to get in my collection. It's just the way they've released this irks me, and that is the Mystery Science Theater collection. Now they've re-released some of these in cheaper format. They even indicate on it here on the on the thing. Yes, this has all happened before, and it will happen again. But if you're expecting deja vu, do not adjust your TV set, because it's true. Behold again the first collection of episodes. It has fallen out of print, and only available copies cost as much as used cars. The episodes collected herein all spring from the same well of cheesy movies. So it's the same ones that were on that set. It's a little bit cheaper one, which I kind of like because it's a thinner release. They give you 4 random episodes, which I don't like that way they did that. But and I'm probably gonna prioritize the Gauntlet, which is the one of the 2 seasons of the re-release of the series, as my next one. Mainly because I worry that those will go out of print before these do, and then I'm probably gonna just get these once a month from Shop Factory until I've got them all. It might be a long time. So
Good deal.
Kind of cool. We got Catalina Caper, The Creeping Terror, Bloodlust, and The Skydivers. So some fun stuff there.
All right.
Pretty cool.
All right. My next one up is one that came out this spring. If memory serves, I think it came out around the same time Roma did. And I was almost as excited about it. This is one there was a filmmaker collection for this particular filmmaker, and I wanted it, and I really wanted it, and I still want it. But some of the films on this collection are starting to trickle into the Criterion collection, and I'd rather get them that way. So I don't know, but this is one of the most notable, acclaimed, arguably most important films from one of my favorite directors, Spanish auteur Pedro Almodovar, and that is the Oscar-winning, I believe it won Best Foreign Language Feature, Todo sobre mi madre, All About My Mother.
Oh.
Which is a film from '99 that features Cecilia Roth, Marisa Paredes, Penelope Cruz, Candela Peña, and et cetera, et cetera. Again, written and directed by Pedro Almodovar, and actually has a pretty decent bit of special features there. This was a very entertaining film. I have not seen it in many years. It was one of the earlier Almodovar films I saw. And for many Americans, it was their introduction to the man. It really is a great film, and I am thrilled that Criterion did a release. And I can't believe I had forgotten about it going into July, but when I saw it on the shelf, I was like, ooh. Yeah.
Well, my next 2 are going to be anime Steelbook releases.
Oh.
So the first one I got off the Rightstuf sale. And this helps complete it. I had shown the trilogy of movies earlier on that I got from this. That was also Steelbook. And I had to get the sequel to that, which was the Code Geass, the Resurrection, Lelouch the Resurrection. So now I think this completes that. I can't remember. Was there an additional piece that's coming up? I don't know.
I think that's the end of the movies.
But, the other one was like a 3-part movie set that kind of retells the series in kind of an alternative way. And This one is a sequel to those.
Right.
So I'm very curious. I really love the series, so I'm curious as to what the retelling is going to be like. So I'm kind of glad to have this in Steelbook because it completes it in the format. Because the 3 movies and this in Steelbook, I feel like a good format. And also I like the artwork. It's pretty cool. Right.
Now, I don't have near enough anime steelbooks, but I'll tell you, I'm tempted by the Cowboy Bebop one. I'm tempted.
Animu Steelbooks, indeed.
Yes, Animu, yes, indeed. This is not Animu, but as I've stated on this channel before, I have a tradition. Each time they do the Criterion sale, I pick up a film by Charles Chaplin. Of course, I'm running out of those, so I may have to switch to Harold Lloyd next, and then maybe Buster Keaton. We'll see how that goes. I almost got the cameraman, and then I'm like, I should wait so that I can continue with the film. But I did get Chaplin's The Circus.
That sounds like it's loose in there.
It is. Unfortunately, I had the case of one that was loose or one with a busted case, and I was trying to avoid that one. But yeah, well, it's not going anywhere. But anyway, I'll probably try to watch it soon-ish, maybe. But I'm actually building up a pretty formidable Chaplin collection at this point. This is one I never have seen. I think it was his follow-up to Gold Rush. And it does include both the original 1928 version and the 1969 version. I'm very curious about this. I've heard good things. Of course, Chaplin, you always hear good things. And it's, of course, got a pretty good number of special features. So, that's always nice with his films. Yep.
Yeah, I got to wonder how it compares to the one I've got. I've been debating it. Mine, I like the one that I've got. I like the look better, but I don't know. It's just because it has a ton of special features. It's actually a very competent release.
Not counting Roma, and I guess not entirely counting Island of Lost Souls. I got some unusually colorful Criterion ones this time around.
I like that. I mean, I can say, let me see if I've got it back here, because it would be easier if I could, it'd take some effort. I'm not going to go grab it. But my version of the circus has a pretty cool cover, but not as colorful.
Okay.
Now, we were talking about Best Buy, and I did get a Best Buy Steelbook. A while back, you saw me do the pickup for this.
Yeah.
Which was pretty cool. Still haven't gotten to this copy yet, but I just like having it on Steelbook because
I kind of want that on Steelbook. Yeah.
Because it's worth having on Steelbook to me because it's just like a staple series.
Yeah.
Now, actually, this needs to go.
Problem is, I already have that one on Blu-ray, so there's much less legitimacy. Yeah.
Now, this I did not have on Blu-ray, and this came today, which was the Cowboy Bebop series. This thing, I thought that it was going to be delayed because of things.
Yeah.
But it did manage to finally get a full-on release on time.
Oh.
So I like the.
I thought that was not yet released. I don't know why I was thinking that.
So that's the digital copy. If one of you found it, I don't care if you get it or not, but I'm there. And this was the back of it originally. It does have special features on it, which is
nice.
Cool. It's got audio commentaries, Bebop Session 0, cast and crew interviews, memo from Bebop, the dub session remembered, Aaron's summer vacation, dinner aboard the Bebop, Cowboy Bebop 20th anniversary. Matter of fact, usually it's beef. Was it peppers and beef? Sans the beef, as their usual. Bebop 20th anniversary interview with Koichi Yamadera. Music clips and Texas opening and ending, which is with every anime. So to me, that's worth upgrading for because I just had the basic out of print, but still basic Blu-ray release. I mean DVD release. And though Funimation did do a Blu-ray release, it's kind of cool to have this one.
That does look cool. I want it.
So now we'll be revisiting this series quite soon because in August. We will be covering it on our anime discussion.
Right.
So that's going to be there. So, stay frosty, Space Cowboys.
Yeah. All right. And my last one, I'm going to slip an anime in here. So we were talking about Rightstuf. We were talking about Animu, sorry. We were talking about Rightstuf. We were talking about how incredibly dangerous the birthday sale is.
Oh, definitely.
But Okay, I don't know what they were doing. I had no less than 5 orders dating all the way back to the middle of May. I had 2 from the middle of May with nothing to show for it. And then finally, out of the blue, out of nowhere, they sent me the lion's share of those 5 orders all at once. I don't really know why. There's still about 6 items on back order. And unfortunately, one thing I've been sitting on that I've alluded to before, I've been sitting on because I'm waiting for the whole franchise. I'm still missing a piece of the franchise. And of course, another order has been added to the mix because of the new stuff that was added this week. But anyway, so I do have quite a lot of anime to last for the remainder of the month, and it'll probably be largely an anime and Criterion thing for a bit. But this time, I wanted to go ahead and slip one in. And in the spirit of these, basically almost all of these are like collector's editions, except maybe the favorite. In the spirit of collector's edition movies, I decided to include a collector's edition movie. And this is one that I have been tempted by. I have debated. I've gone back and forth and back and forth. I don't know the movie. Didn't really want to pay a large amount for it, not knowing the movie. But it got its American release by the same fine folks that brought us Skip Beat, and I wanted to support them, and I wanted to show my thumbs up. And since I already have Aria, there was no way I was going for that fancy Aria release. But I finally decided that, $30 is not bad for a deluxe edition movie. I might as well. So I went ahead and got Pied Piper's American release of the film Time of Eve. Which is a pretty nice little set. It comes with a nice little thick booklet, art box there. It's kind of feels about like an Aniplex, but slightly higher quality. But given the pricing, I can't really complain because it's much cheaper than your typical Aniplex. And I've heard good things about the film. I definitely have heard good things. I just don't really know a great deal about it. But like I said, I finally figured the time was right. I don't know if the time was right, but I finally figured the heck with it. I had to spring for it. I had to go ahead and get that one. And like I said, maybe if we all encourage Pied Piper by buying their stuff, maybe they'll announce their next project soon. And who knows? Maybe it'll be something like Cheeky Angel. Yay.
Oh, that would be nice. That would be nice.
Mm-hmm.
Now, speaking of tipping our hands, I know I tipped mine earlier.
Yeah, I have a feeling I know what you're talking about.
So I was looking there, and I saw this lonely release when I was at Barnes & Noble.
Yeah,
it's a little release, just barely noticeable amongst all the other titles. I said to myself, Jake has one of these. And he showed it earlier on, December, I believe, or January, one of those.
I think it was a birthday. If you're talking, I'm sure you're talking about what I'm talking about, and I think it was a birthday pickup.
So this teeny tiny Criterion release is the Igmar Bergman collection.
Yes.
Which I couldn't help but getting because I got this and I had an extra coupon.
If you do the split screen here.
So yeah. He brought
you completely matched. So I was right.
So, it's a very hefty collection. And
they were complaining in our group. They were complaining about how big the Godzilla set was, and I was like, "You have no idea."
Well, this one is smaller than the Godzilla set as far as it's about 2 inches taller and about a little bit wider. But I mean, not wider.
Turn it the other way.
That way, no. It's like not even that. So it's kind of cool. It has a couple of films by Bergman.
Just a couple.
So I'll run through it again just in case you missed it the first time.
Yeah.
Which is Crisis, A Ship to India, Port of Call, Thirst, Not that thirst. Tukoi, Summer Interlude, Waiting Women, Summer with Monica, Sawdust and Tinsel, A Lesson in Love, Dreams, not that Dreams, Smiles of a Summer Night, The Seventh Seal, yes, that Seventh Seal, Wild Strawberries, Brink of Life, The Magician, The Virgin Spring, The Devil's Eye, Through a Glass Darkly, Winter Light, The Silence, All These Women, Persona, Hour of the Wolf, Shame, The Right, The Passion of Anna, Pharaoh Document, 1970 and 1979, The Touch, Cries and Whispers, Scenes from a Marriage, The Magic Flute, The Serpent's Egg, Autumn Sonata, From the Life of Marionettes, Fanny and Alexander, After the Rehearsal, and Saraband.
You should also note that both Scenes of a Marriage and Fanny and Alexander have the theatrical and TV versions. Apparently different.
So
and there's a couple of short films as well.
Oh yeah, Daniel, which is a rarely seen documentary or documentary shorts. It is one heck of a lavish set. So I think it's worth having. It's surely a big set. And I've compared it to my Herschel Gordon-Levitt set, which it's slightly bigger than the Herschel Gordon-Levitt set. So I've kind of got this underneath the Arrow set, which is stacked there. So I am very happy to have this. I got this for a very good price because I had actually found a coupon, a one-use coupon that I had been sent a long time ago that I was able to apply on top of this because they didn't care. So I ended up getting this for around $110.
Not bad.
Yeah, especially if you look at what the price tag is on the back.
Yeah. Not bad at all.
So, of course, many of you probably already know about this because you'll have seen it on the cover image. But I'm sure we'll surprise you with something there. Well, that's all we've got for this time around. I hope you've enjoyed it. Hit that like button. Of course, subscribe if you haven't. Share, and we'll see you on the next one. Goodbye.
Bye.